clear who you might represent or your prejudices. And I think if people can hear me, that's good. And so I've got a few declarations to make. I am a member of Florida's Mutual Men. I am the minister to Unitarian Universalist Church in Brevard.
Yes.
And my strong bias is I am anti-authoritarianism. Let me be clear about that. I am anti-authoritarianism. Now, I did not say that I am anti-authoritativism. Authoritative is when people learn, study, have real-life experiences, come back and talk to us in authoritative in a reasonable way, and we engage in conversation. Authoritative. I'm for that, and we're for that, and I think that's what we're doing here today. I am not for authoritarianism. Authoritarianism is when somebody has the power over you, whether it's a domestic relationship, whether it's a national relationship, whether it's your government, whether it's your corporation, whether it's your economic system. When somebody has power over you and speaks a lie, and you have to believe that lie as if it's true, and you know it's a lie. And you have to structure your life around that lie in order to get along in society. When the Supreme Court made the decision in the Citizens United versus the FEC that the Citizens United decision was good for a democracy and good for us as citizens, it was a lie, but we are supposed to believe it. When the Supreme Court said that the extra money that corporations would be able to flood our political process with would be good because more voices would come out, and this is another voice to the program. Another voice equals money equals speech, which is not true. That's another lie. We are being told lies to structure our life around a lie, and that is authoritarianism. So I am declaring my bias. I am anti-authoritarianism before we get started. I have a quote. Jane Addams, modified just a bit by Gregory Wilson, myself. The people who founded this nation didn't fight a war so they could have a couple citizen representatives sitting on congressional meetings with representatives from the British East India Company, or Goldman Sachs, or AIG, or Citibank, or Morgan Stanley, or the corporations of the military-industrial complex, or Exxon, or BP, or the medical industry. We are not to be sitting with these corporations in congressional meetings, and they are not to be writing our legislation. We are. They, the blue coat colonists, carried out a revolution in order to be free of oppression from corporate rule or oppression from government or otherwise. The blue coat colonists replaced that oppressive government with a democratic self-ruling government. Us, we the people. We are here today to make a declaration, not necessarily protest, but to make a declaration. The Declaration of Independence from corporate rule. We, the people of the United States, in order to make democracy real and have justice for all, to defend against oppression, to fight for the welfare of all, to liberate our minds and hearts, and to safeguard our pocketbooks from the clutches of corporations, do hereby declare our independence from corporate rule, shouting for all to hear, corporations are not human persons and have no inherent inalienable human rights under the Constitution, and money is not speak, and in that we stand in solidarity. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Paine, Abigail Adams, James Madison, Samuel Adams, and Patrick Henry are not looking down on us with pride. They are standing next to us, shoulder to shoulder, pushing back the Tory ruling elite, just as they did 230 years ago. We shall push the redcoats out of our government. We shall push the economic elite redcoats back to their proper place in a democracy, serving the people. When we reclaim our rights, that were so abusively given to the economically, to a tool that the economic elite use. That tool that they use is the corporation. A tool that the economic elite use, the corporation, now has civil liberties. We are in protest to that today. When we reclaim our rightful heritage that was stolen from us by the Supreme Court, we will prohibit all political activity by corporations. We will stop all corporate political donations and corporate lobbying. We will inspect plants for environmental and health violations without warrant or prior notice, which we are not able to do now because corporations can claim civil liberties. We will revoke corporate charters when necessary by popular referendum. We will make corporations behave in the interest of the public good as our founders of this nation insisted. We will stop corporations from stealing natural resources. We will stop corporations from destroying our environment for profit and calling it a public good, a jobs program. Yeah. We will require labeling on all genetically modified foods. Yeah. We will insist on labeling of the origin of food and the disclosure of any chemicals used in the food processing that we eat. Yeah. We will be a free people again when corporate personhood rights are removed. We have a right to be here. We have the right to join our voices, and it is right for us to be here. When a government joins forces with the economic elite and creates a poverty class, a low-income working class, robs the middle class so that it no longer exists, it is right for us to be here. When a government can enact extraordinary rendition on its own citizens and suspend citizens' rights, it is right for us to be here. When we have rights but our rights have no meaning, it is right for us to be here. When corporations can wreak havoc in the Gulf of Mexico without citizen review, it is right for us to be here. When our government and the financial class profits from 5.6 million citizens losing their homes, it is right for us to be here. When 1 million businesses and non-businesses have filed for bankruptcy, it is right for us to be here. When 2.5 million workers in this country are paid less than minimum wage, it is right for us to be here. It is right for us to be here. You are right to be here. Today is a celebration of people. And I want to tell a story about when I was in high school on the wrestling team. One of my best friends, John Milton, who was the captain of that wrestling team, during warm-up in the wrestling practice in calisthenics, we had to do 3 sets of 30 push-ups. And now John Malcolm, he was naturally strong, and we all hated him for it. No, it's not true. We loved him for it. What he did was, while we were doing those push-ups as captain of the team, we'd get to 20, we'd get to 25, and then he'd say, "Hold!" And we'd have to stop, whether we were up or down, wherever it was, we had to stop. We had to hold that line. And he was terrible, he was horrible, because he would not relent. So we'd do 1 set of push-ups, we'd do another set of push-ups. And the 3rd set of push-ups, we were dying, we were exhausted. And he would say on number 15, "Hold that line." Number 16, "Hold that line." Number 20, "Hold that line." We had to create a voice in our head that when it got tough and we wanted to quit, we had to create a voice in our head that when it got tough and we were going to fall, we had to create a voice in our head that said, "Hold that line." And that's what I say to the Occupy movement. Hold that line. Hold that line. Do not give up. We are right to be here. It is our right to be here. And you are right to be here today. Thank you for being here. Just now. You give me your name and email somehow, and I'll get you that. And also, if I don't know where we are in the program, but if there are questions, we can answer the questions.